Welcome everyone to another episode of the Choice Chat. I'm so excited to have none other than the Georgia Donaldson here, who is a leadership expert and guru. And we met through another podcast that Georgia hosts. But your story, Georgia, was so remarkable that I felt like I needed to have you share your story here. And as a reminder, this is a love letter to all those whose choices have propelled them to pivot with purpose for a better tomorrow. And so, Georgia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Loren. It's really lovely being on your show. I know you were on our show, The Leader's Edge, several weeks ago. So it's really nice to be on your show.
Thank you, Georgia. It feels like yesterday.
Yes, but it was a couple months ago. You see how time flies?
I know
Time
time
certainly
flies.
flies. Yes.
But we were, it's one of those connections that feels serendipitous to me. We
Yeah.
connected immediately and talked for some time after that. So I want to give you a moment to share your story and your journey with our audience.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. It's almost like we're kindred spirit already. When we
Yes.
met, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I've known you for such a long time. And that's part of my story, Lauren.
Mm.
Sometimes when I meet people, I'm wondering, where did I meet them before? But I think sometimes because I make sure I open myself when I meet
Mm.
people to receive them. And that is how I have grown over the years. And I think it's because I've witnessed it in my family. I come from a family of strong women and women who love people, who are always welcoming people. Our homes were always filled with people. The neighbors' children always came over. They always fed them, and I saw them doing that. And that became part of me. And therefore, I think when I fell into HR, and I say fell into it because it's something, I moved up the ranks in administration, moved into assisting a general manager, and then naturally kind of moved into HR. And everything that I've done so far, all those things have been dealing with people, working with people, facilitating people, empowering people. And here I am today. So I've moved through the ranks in HR right up to an executive level in HR in different industries. I was in banking and I was in manufacturing, two of the major industries. And then when I got the opportunity to say, hey, move out on your own because there are some things that you want to do that you may not be able to do in the confines of an organization. So if you were to move out on your own, you would have that latitude to do it. Of course, moving out on my own wasn't easy. But here I am now telling the tale of moving out of HR in an organization and now providing support to HR people within organizations and doing leadership coaching. That, in a nutshell, is my story.
Georgia, I mean, every time I hear it, I just get chills. I remember we met through Culture Amp, right? We were
Yes,
part of that
yes.
the virtual conference. And you're right, we were kindred spirits. Similar
Mm-hmm.
to you, I've been exposed to very strong but leader leader moms, leader women, right, in my
Mm-hmm.
family. And to your
Yes,
point, it creates this sense of community
yes.
that really cements the idea that it takes a village, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
had the pleasure to cultivate that in our careers. And when we spoke the first time, I remember feeling that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is a privilege.
Yes, it is.
Not very many people have the luxury and the opportunity to do what we do. So to do so with such grace, but yet so much curiosity and openness
Mm-hmm.
is a blessing in and of itself.
It certainly is, Lauren. And one of the things that really gives me cause for concern when I hear HR people now who are so totally stressed, who are saying, why am I in this profession? Because the way things are going in some organizations, they feel sidelined. They
Mm.
feel that their voice is not being heard, or they feel that the things that they're doing are not contributing to the strategic objectives of the organization. So I'm really concerned when I hear HR professionals feeling that way. Because really, HR professionals in organizations, we're the linchpin.
Yes.
We are the ones pulling things together. We're the ones who should be so buoyant, who should be the ones who are saying, listen, this work that I'm doing is transformative work. And therefore, the kind of recognition that role ought to get in organizations should be paramount. But too often, that's not what I'm seeing from HR professionals. And leaders need to take a stop and take stock of what they're doing.
Yes, leaders across the board, top down,
Yes,
side to side. And you're right, there are more HR professionals feeling more and more stressed.
yes,
Mental health above and beyond is a big issue.
for
But
sure.
with HR as a highlight here, they get a bad rap a lot of times because it's
Yes,
funny. Earlier, when you mentioned organization, you drew a box, and a lot of times they are confined to certain constraints that don't allow them to do
hmm,
what's best for the organization because this, that, and the other. And
yes,
so it's almost like an inflection point, if you
hmm,
will. You know, there's a
yes.
lot of legislation going on worldwide that also impacts HR practices.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I've seen a lot of it here in the States. I'm sure you're seeing it there where you
Hmm.
are in the Caribbean. And at the end of the day, it is about keeping the human in human resources, not making
Oh,
it
yes.
inhumane
Oh, I'm
resources.
so happy you said that, Lauren, because I wanted to share one quick thing. I remember at one stage I was setting up an office, in my HR space, and I was putting a plant in my office. I was putting flowers on the desk. I was putting up, I took a painting from my home, put it on. And one person in the HR office said to me, "Why are you doing that? You know, what I mean, it's just the employees coming in here." And I said, "That's exactly why I'm doing it. It's not just the employees who are coming here, it is the employees who are coming here. And therefore, this space needs to feel welcoming to them." But what happened is that the people, the employees, were accustomed to going into HR office when there was an issue, when there was a problem, and
Yes.
not going into the HR office feeling as if they're going to be affirmed or valued.
Yes. Yes. That a
So these
hundred
are things,
percent.
yeah, we have to look at these things.
Absolutely. So I want you to share with our audience what was that pivotal moment in your life where you made that choice that led you to where you are today, that really led you to pivot with purpose.
Ah, I started my HR company back in Jamaica. So I'm Jamaican, but I live in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have moved to Trinidad and Tobago for 16 years now.
Mhm.
So I started that company and I was doing that work. What led me to do that? I had had my third child. So I have three kids, a girl and two boys. And after I had that third one, I said, you know what? There is an opportunity now for me to get some space to manage my life in a different way. I have worked in an organization for 20 years. I thought that there was nothing more that I would contribute at the level I wanted to contribute. And people thought I was crazy when I said I was leaving that organization after 20 years. Why are you leaving? You're going to be getting a pension here. But I remember there was a program I wanted to do. And I came up with that idea, but it had to be vetoed by so many persons. And that was that moment that said, Georgia, you're going out on your own and you're going to do that program on your own. And that's how it started.
I mean, that is not only beyond inspiring, but it resonates so much
Mhm.
because you were able to recognize that what your intention was, the impact that you're meant to have,
Mhm.
goes beyond and went beyond where you were in that
Yes,
moment. Everyone, the majority of the people you're telling, they're thinking about the pension, the pension, the pension, but you knew that your life was much bigger than a
yes,
pension.
yes, yes. And make no doubt about it. I don't want persons who are looking on or listening, watching, saying, so she went out and she minted it. I'd be happy if I could say, yes, I went out and I minted it. As a matter of fact, my income decreased for a while. So I had to manage carefully. I had
Yes.
to make do. But what was important to me is that I was feeling much more of myself, that I was
Mm,
giving, I was doing what I thought I needed to do. And then
mm.
things will happen, things will come. So I'm now trying to build that income base as I go along.
I think what you're describing here is fulfillment.
There you go. There you go.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. But some people say you can't take fulfillment to the supermarket.
Oh, no, you can't. And it
That's
certainly
another
can't feed you for
story.
days on end. No, of
Yeah, that's
course.
another story.
But you
Yeah.
hinted to this earlier, right? That
Mhm.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
You, this is not for everyone. The way that you
Yeah.
impact
Yes.
is different from another
Mhm.
person's. But when
Yes.
you align with that through which you are meant to impact, is what creates fulfillment. For some,
Yes.
it may mean motherhood. For
That's so
some, it
true.
may mean within an organization.
Yes.
For some, it may mean mentorship, right? But
Yeah.
whatever that looks like is what you are meant to align with.
Right. That's so true. I remember speaking with one HR leader as I was coaching her. And she said, Georgia, I admire people like you who, take that leap and you go out and do what you do. But she said that's not for her. That's something that she could never do. She feels comfortable where she is in an organization, mentoring other people and getting them to a certain level. And I admire that so much because she recognized what fulfilled her
Right.
and she is doing what needs to be done to ensure that she does it well. So I
That's a
admire
great
her.
example. That is
Yes,
someone to admire because she knows what
she
fulfills her,
knows. She
right?
knows.
So
Yes,
she's making an intentional choice.
that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
So, what would you like to leave our audience with today?
One of the things, we don't take a chance on ourselves. And that's
Mm.
what I'd like to say to anyone who's going to be watching this. Take a chance on yourself. Oftentimes we take a chance on other people, we take a chance on situations and circumstances, but we forget about ourselves. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance that you can do exactly what you want to do. Take a chance that that presentation that you thought you'd never ace, you're going to ace it because you're preparing. Take a chance that that idea that you have is going to resonate with people. Just stop and take a chance on yourself.
Wow, Georgia, that's such an incredible message. We don't grow up hearing that, do we? We had another guest, Lori, who mentioned something similar to bet on yourself. Growing up, we don't hear that type of
Yeah.
advice, right? Especially if we come from, from diverse backgrounds like we
Mm-hmm.
do. You don't necessarily hear take a chance on yourself because we
Yes.
can't really afford to in many ways, right?
Yes, that's true.
And so it's refreshing to have opportunities today where we can take a chance on ourselves and have people like you reminding us to do that and inspiring us and showing us the way to do that.
Yes. That's my story for today.
Georgia, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for coming here and sharing your story. You've heard it here. You hear more about how to reach Georgia and connect with her so she can guide you on how to take a chance on yourself. Georgia, you have a fantabulous weekend.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It's wonderful being with you. Thanks again. Take care,
Bye.
everyone.
You
Bye bye.
too. Bye.